and welcome to PBM Investments daily news for today. So we're going to just do a recap of what happened in the Chancellor Exchequer's budget, and we're going to just talk about a few of the things that was been happening, and update you on the road to 1 million for the year. Here we go. So some of the biggest rises and fallers of the week were Diamondback Energy, where it was up 7.31%. All these that I'm telling you now are all in the US, so the US stock market. Norwegian Cruise Line was also up 6.93%. Holly Frontier, that was up 6.73%. Hess up 6.23%. Unum up 5.80%. And MarketAxess Holdings was down 6.3%. And as I say, all of those were over in America. To the Eurozone. So this is all European stocks. There's only two big ones, big movers in the index that I look at. That's Continental, that was up 5.43%. Volkswagen, the car manufacturers, were also up 5.31% as well. Now, finally, the UK. Barratt Developments were up 7.07%. Permisson up 6.83%. Interconsolidation Airlines was up 6.81%, BT up 6.75%, and Taylor Wimpey up 6.0% as well. So a lot of the house and home builders were up quite a bit, probably on the news of the Chancellor Exchequer, which I'll go into a bit more detail about homeowners, first-time buyers, freezing stamp duty, and things like that. Before I go into it, there's two major things I wanted to update you on. One is Deliveroo. So the food courier chain. So there's Just Eat, there's Deliveroo, and Uber Eats. Deliveroo is doing an IPO, and they've chosen the London Stock Exchange to actually float on. More details will be coming out later on about when and obviously how you can obviously invest in it. Over the course of the pandemic, especially last year and the year and this year, there's been obviously a significant rise in people using it for obvious reasons. We can't go anywhere. And the second thing, I was actually doing some filming yesterday and saw this firsthand. Amazon Fresh has opened up in Ealing Broadway. So it's the first store to utilize the, so they've had this in America. So basically if you have an Amazon, when you go on Amazon online, you can go into the store as long as you access a little barcode. So you type in your details, you get an barcode, and you say you're going into a nearby store. At the moment, there's only one in London, which is over in Ealing. You go in, you don't have to pay for anything. You take the items that you want, come out, and it charges you as you go out. Pretty futuristic. But the notes that I saw online were that they're looking to do a couple more in the capital and then see how it goes, basically. But going by what I saw yesterday, there was a queue forming around the block. So Ealing Broadway, there's like a shopping centre. It's just outside or nearby the Barclays on the high street. So you have to go in. So there was a queue forming, and it went around the building. Madness. And it was pretty packed inside as well. So that might be the future. Without further ado though, let's go through the budget highlights. So the income tax rates stay the same. However, 2 million people will see their tax bill rise because of that, because obviously the actual rates are going to stay the same, but people's income has either gone lower or they're on furlough, which means they're only getting 75, 8% or whatever, wherever your workplace allows you to have. Like I say, there's also a stealth tax, which means that over the course of the next 5 years, the Treasury is expecting to raise 20 billion from it. Whether or not they'll get that over the next 5 years, who knows what might happen. No one knew that coronavirus was going to happen. Who knows what might happen in the next 5 years. There's also hiking corporation tax. So that's me and a few of the corporations. So that's going up to 25% from 2023. That includes limited companies and PLCs, basically. 600,000 people are eligible to apply for 2 more batches of pandemic cash. That's if you're self-employed. So if you class yourself as either a partnership or a sole trader, look into getting more of a help through that. Pubs and restaurant shops will also be given an £18,000 to reopen. So that's hopefully going to happen between April to June. That's the plan. Furlough scheme, as I said to you before, if anyone's actually seen some of the other videos, will actually be continued on until September. which means there's a good chance there'll be intermittent little times where we went before, where we'll have certain cities on tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and certain cities will be in lockdown and certain cities will be okay. So we'll come out of a UK national lockdown, but we'll go back to maybe more of a local lockdowns, which means the furlough scheme would need to be in place to help those people, unfortunately, that are suffering in those cities in future. So keep an eye on that. The Chancellor is also looking to spend 65 billion over the next 2 years. So what does that mean? So that's also about infrastructure spending to combat obviously Brexit, and obviously make sure that certain deals are going to be in place, make sure that certain things like furlough money is available for investments. But as the Chancellor, I believe, said before, we're in now coming up to, I think is it 2 trillion or 1.2 trillion once the 65 billion's gone in. How are we going to pay this off? Basically, we're going to be paying it off into the future. So after them 2 or 3 or 4 years, it's down to the next generation to try and pay that down. I don't know how they're going to pay it down, but that's the plan. Introduction of a green bond sovereign. So that's looking to raise 15 billion as well. So that's another thing. We've got back 95% mortgages as well. When I was a wee nipper, I used to see 100% mortgages, so you didn't have to put any deposit down. And that obviously was before 2008, when there was a subprime mortgage disaster over in America that kind of had a ripple effect into the UK and the demise of Northern Rock. So just because the 95% mortgages are available and it's great for first-time buyers, be careful. Minimum wage increase is looking to go up to 8.9, so £8.91, and that's from April, so next month onwards. VAT is being cut, or the VAT cut is going to be maintained for food and drink, and that's just to help us to eat out. And as I say, that is all the news that's fit to say in print, as they say. Now, the road to 1 million. As I said to you before, I'm using the demo account on both IG and plus 500. Now, it's on the phone that I'm shooting on, so I can't go into too much detail, but one of these days, I'm going to actually show you details of what I'm actually trading. Just to give you a brief summary, most of it is on semiconductors. So I'm spread betting quite a lot of companies on semiconductors, both in America, in the UK, and mainly in China. Because I said to you before, a lot of the Chinese industry are now stockpiling semiconductors because there's a shortage. And therefore, other countries such as in UK, Europe, and America, you'll notice if you look at some of them, their prices are going down. So again, I'm being totally honest with you, it's only a demo account, but it's doing quite well at this moment in time. And I've only set that back up because there was a few issues with IG, in fact, plus 500 over the course of this week. So I want to give it like a few weeks before I start showing you guys what type of stocks I'm trading, and then introduce new real money once I've got some successful trades going in. And then, yeah, we'll see what we can do to try and make 1 million this year. For not just me, but hopefully for everyone listening and watching. And that, as they say, is that. Keep an eye out on, I'm going to get the Financial Times over the weekend and Interactive Investor Chronicle, which is a great magazine that talks to you about what the investment news that's been going on over the course of the week. Most of it's going to be on most of it's going to be on the Chancellor Exchequer's budget. So, yeah, but having said that, there's a few gems in there, probably, talking about small caps, talking about oil, and various other things that have gone on during the week. So kind of look beyond the obvious headlines and see where the next Amazons, the next Googles, the next dips, the next rises are meant to happen. And then hopefully you'll go on to make your own million. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. Take care of yourselves. Have a great weekend, and I will be back later on with an update to what's happened and a recap on the week. And like I say, you take care of yourselves. Bye.